Okay, the bowler-batsman matchup. So each bowler has a card, each batsman has a card, and they're both 2 to 12 grades. You can see 2 to 12 on the dice roll. So we have 2 dice rolled for the bowler, and they're 2 red dice. And we have 2 dice rolled for the batsman, and they're green dice. And we basically get a result from each card, cross-reference those results, and then come across to the charts, and we get the result. So we'll go through a few examples of that very, very shortly. The charts there's 5 different batting modes, depending on how aggressive you want to be. The first one is shutters up mode, and that is basically when you're trying to save a test match you're going to lose, and you want to try and force a draw, you play shutters up. I don't generally use that very often. The one that I generally use as the lowest is defensive, and you'll use this batting mode, the defensive mode, when you first come in, or if you've basically got you're in trouble, you've lost a lot of wickets, and you need to try and rebuild a partnership. You want to use that at the beginning of a batsman's innings. Once the batsman does get in, he will then progress up to a normal mode of play, and the person who's actually playing the game gets to choose which mode he's in. So you could be defensive the whole time if you wanted to, but you're not going to lose very many wickets, but you're not going to score runs at a very good rate. Normal rate will get you scoring runs at a normal run rate, and losing wickets at a normal sort of frequency as well. After normal, there's a couple more grades. One is called the looking for runs grade or approach, and you'll score more runs than you did on normal, but you'll lose a few more wickets as well. Heading out, you'll score a lot more runs, but you'll lose a lot more wickets as well. So if you need quick runs with a lot of risk involved, heading out's the grade. Looking for runs, if someone is well established at the crease, maybe he's got past 50 and he's pretty comfortable out there. You want to score some runs quickly, looking for runs. And I basically play defensive to start, normal most of the time. There will be times for every single approach, but I use defensive, normal, and looking for runs a little bit. Very rarely I will use hitting out, but you do have to choose. So that's a choice the batting team has to make. So let's roll a couple. What I want to say is that Jason Holder from the West Indies, that's his bowling card. If you flip over, you get his batting card. So it's a double-sided card. Now, not everyone bowls. So David Warner here is not a bowler, so he's just got a blank on there. But anyone who bats and bowls will have a double-sided card. So let's roll our 4 dice. Now, there is a 5th die involved, but that's for more advanced things. They're not too advanced, but we'll go through that a little bit one at a time. So let's roll our 2 dice. Again, red for the bowler and green for the batsman. And we want to add our dice together. So our 2 red dice add up to 7. And if we go to the bowling 7, we have a delivery type of overpitched. If we then go to the batting dice, we add it together to get a 6. And we get an A. So we have overpitched delivery and an A. Now, A is the best for batting. X is the worst. So we come over here and we have a look under the defensive, and we have a look under the overpitched delivery type, which Jason Holder bowled. We look under A, and that's an off drive for 4 runs. That's gone all the way to the boundary, and David Warner has got 4 runs. If that was under the normal play, under overpitched, it'd be an off drive for 4 again. So both of those, overpitch is not a very good delivery. So if a batsman gets an A, he's going to hit it for 4 generally. Let's see if we've got any difference up here. This one's a cover drive. It's gone for 4 again, looking for runs. But if you're actually hitting out that A grade of an overpitched delivery, David Warner would have straight driven that one for 6. So it does change a little bit. Definitely overpitched, you're going to score a lot of runs. If you can see A's and B grades, you're going to get a lot of runs there. Let's roll the dice again. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got an 8 for the bowler, and we've got an 8 for the batsman. So this time it's a good length delivery, so a good delivery from Jason Holder. And it's an E for David Warner. So we look at good length, the type of delivery, and we look at E. And David Warner hasn't offered a stroke, so he hasn't played at the ball. He's left it goes through to the wicketkeeper. The wicketkeeper is the one who stands behind the wickets and catches all the balls that are missed, kind of like a catcher in baseball, but just further back generally. So it's gone through for 0. Now, no runs on that action, and that's also called a dot ball. If we come up to the normal section, a good length and E, again, forward defence. This time he hasn't left it, he's actually played it with his bat, but he's just hit it very close to him. He's defended the wickets, but they've got no runs off it. If we come across to looking for runs in E, again, forward defence, no runs. And over on the hitting out, big swish. He's taken a big swipe at that one. He's swung pretty hard. He's missed it. It's gone for no runs. But there's a possible bye against the wicketkeeper, which basically means there's a possibility that the wicketkeeper has missed the ball and a run could be scored. Now, that's kind of like a pass ball for a catcher, except that you can score up to 4 runs on byes in cricket. So it could be 1, 2, 3, or 4 byes in cricket. Let's roll again, see if we can get some different results. So again, we have an 8 for the bowler, and we got a 7 for the batsman. So we got an 8, which is a good length, and a 7, which is a C. Okay, so good length again for Jason Holder from the Windies, and a C. It's no runs again. Over here on normal, it's no runs again. But we'll start to see a little change here. On a C, when you're looking for runs, that's going to be deflected down to third man, which is a fielding position, for 1 run. So they'll get a run on that if they're being a little bit more aggressive in the looking for runs grade. And the hitting out, this time a good length C is a square drive, and he's hit that for 3 runs. Now I will try to explain in another video what some of these actual scoring shots are for square drives, pulls, hooks, things like that on drives. But that's it for another video. Let's do one last one here. We've got a 9 for the bowler, and we've got a 7 again. So we know 7 is a C for David Warner. A 9 for the bowler is swing. So we look under the swing. C. Defensively, he's withdrew the bat, so no run. Normally, if you're in the normal section, he's pushed that onto the offside for 1 run. So he scores 1 run there. If we're looking for runs, he's pushed it to mid-wicket for a single. And if he's hitting out, it's a square drive for 2 runs. So you can see the batting mode that you're in definitely affects how many runs are scored. So if you were to sit back and in defensive mode all day, you're not going to score a lot of runs. Like maybe you'll score 2 runs per over on average. But if you're over here hitting out or looking for runs, maybe 4 or 5, 6 runs and over in test matches. If you are playing one-day cricket, and let's have a look at that last ball was a swing C, wasn't it? So defensively, that's a single straight away, whereas in the test match, defensively was no runs. Normal, it's a single. Looking for runs, has 2 runs. And then hitting out as 2 runs also, but I think there's an opportunity to try and go for a 3rd run as well. So there's different things for one-day cricket, obviously. There's a lot more scoring. The field's a little bit more spread out. We'll talk about fields a little bit later as well. But depending on the mode, depending on what sort of amount of runs you will score per over. But again, depending on the mode, depending on how often or the frequency that you'll get out, So the more risk you take, the more runs, but the more wickets. That's how the game works. Now, some of these charts will bring you, some of these results will bring you to different charts, and we'll go through those charts of how you get out and chances of getting out and things like that as we go along the way. Okay, so we have 2 to 12, a delivery type, a batting grade. We cross-reference those two on the charts to get our result. For the batting, big hit is the best, but it's not on everyone's card. Yeah, the best is then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and X. Bowling deliveries we'll go through again, as I said, in another video very shortly.